What is the truth of this passage in Acts 9? There are a couple of clear pieces of truth. There is a person named Tabitha, also known as Dorcas. She gets sick and she dies. So we have the truth of there's a human being and death comes to the human body. And then we have the truth of Peter, who came and prayed over her because the people around her believed in the power of prayer, and so they called him. Do you believe in the power of prayer? Do you believe in the power of prayer when you get a diagnosis, when someone around you is sick? Do you believe in the power of prayer for peace, for our world, and for our nations, plural, nations, our globe, our planet? So the people around her believed in the power of prayer. They called Peter. Humility and faith go together, another truth. So he humbled himself by getting on his knees. He prayed for her, and she was raised from the dead. Truth of Acts 9 is there is resurrection. There is new life. This life is not all there is. If we raise our children and grandchildren and children of the church with that truth, it changes everything. We're not living just for the toys that we get in this life. We are living for the ultimate truth, which is God's truth of love. My grandmother on my father's side, my grandma and grandpa, always had happy hour. And I met with a family yesterday, a 99-year-old that we buried, and they always had happy hour. When they were growing up, when the 99-year-old was growing up, they had happy hour. And it was explained to me, and then it made more sense to me about my grandma and grandpa Seaton always having happy hour before dinner. It was different from our happy hour. When you hear happy hour, what do you think of? Half-price drinks and appetizers, right? You think of drinks. That definitely is part of happy hour. The happy hour that I heard about yesterday and then resonated with me from my grandparents. This family yesterday, they did not drink. The 99-year-old that we buried did not drink. Happy hour was an hour every night when, in their time, the father came home from work, but the family gathered to be happy together, to share about their day, to connect, to look into each other's eyes, to be at peace with one another. It wasn't about drinking, and it wasn't about eating. It was about being a happy family. We can do that with those who live in the apartment next door. We can do it with those by being on the phone with our loved ones. We can do it in our own homes. But let's have our Mother's Day legacy from 2019 be that we have the truth of being peacemakers. And we do that by creating happy hour, that we are at peace with one another, by just sometimes sitting together and being happy, counting our blessings silently, being grateful together that we have someone on the journey with us. Easier said than done when someone you live with might be annoying. Easier said than done when you've had a tough day and you're tired. Easier said than done when you're full of doubts and confusion or fear. But if we walk in the truth of Tabitha and Peter's power of prayer and humility on our knees, by the grace of God, my friends, all of us, women and men, will be peacemakers, as Julia Ward Howe first proclaimed and hoped that it would come to be in 1870.